Hello, this is wmpyr here with a video response to Sensei Rick from DTG Taiho Jitsu, who just made an excellent video called The Psychology of a Fight. And basically just here to add some of my 2 cents. Recently, not too long ago, I had a experience with the AmpGuard folks, and it was a great experience. I wish I could do it over and over and over and get countless more experiences. It's just that it was really far away, so I haven't been able to go back there. But one of the things was when I went in there, I wasn't going to do Filipino martial arts or try to test myself in any way. I was there to learn what they had to offer and have fun and get some exercise. So I wasn't doing any Eskrima moves and stuff like that, but I, am a martial artist, and the skill and the attributes that I have developed through training is a lot of it is in my muscle memory. A lot of it's ingrained in me through years of training, so I can't just turn that off. So even though I wasn't using Eskrima techniques per se, I was still using footwork and the body mechanics and principles and distancing in just found in various martial arts, including Filipino martial arts. So I was doing that. So when we first started off, I didn't know what to do, but I was completely fine because I was using that kind of, even though AmpGuard was completely new to me, and I didn't know these people and stuff, I kind of didn't know what to expect. But once we started, to spar, should I say, I was completely fine. I was comfortable, and I thought I was doing, performance-wise, not that it really matters because it's not a competition, but I was doing fine. Then they started telling me like I was doing stuff wrong and I needed to do things, their way. And that's fine because, like I said, I was there to learn their way. But that's when it started messing me up. And that's when basically they're like, no, you got to do it this way. You're moving this way too much or whatever. Then like all my attributes and skills kind of went out the window. And then I kind of turned into almost like a brawler, if that makes sense. Okay. And that's when I got clobbered up. And that was fine because I was having fun and I was still moving around and getting exercise and stuff like that. And trying to learn what they do, which was, like I said, new. So, of course, I'm not going to be good at it. This is, to me, a very good example of the psychology of a fight. This happens to, like, let's say, the early UFC. You see a lot of martial artists that went into the UFC, karate people and kickboxers and stuff like that. And I don't think it was because they were poor karate people or they were poor Kempo practitioners or their boxing level was no good or whatever. I think if you put the karate guy who entered the UFC in a karate tournament, he wouldn't be too bad. You put the taekwondo guy in a taekwondo tournament, I'm sure he's good. Boxer in a boxing tournament, so each one in their own individual craft, I think would have been fine. It's just that specifically for the UFC, at the time the UFC, it was a whole new thing happening here in the US, and pretty much nothing like that had existed before. So no, those people were ill prepared for that kind of event. So what happens then? Even though they're pretty good kickboxers or they're pretty good boxers, they're pretty good karate people, they go into the UFC, they don't know what to expect, and they get tagged or something, and boom, everything goes out the window. And I really don't think it's because they are a poor martial artist. I just feel like if you are ill prepared, it can happen to anyone. And like I said, in my AmpGuard experience, it happened to me. So that I think is one of the first lines of the psychology of combat. When that happens to you, and it can happen to anyone, how do you deal with that situation? Because basically it turns into me versus the scenario, because it's not me and now I have a strategy and I have martial arts skills and I have my background. So it's me plus all that going into the scenario. No, that's not what happens because, like I said, you get tagged or you get thrown off guard, and that's what happened to me psychologically. I was thrown off guard, and then all that disappears. So it just becomes just you just you and your plain instincts versus that scenario. So when that happens, you want to be able to have something to be able to, because you don't have strategy now. So you have to build everything from scratch, which is very difficult situation there. You're going to be outgunned. The other person is probably comfortable and doing well. So to overcome that, I think the first stance is you need to be able to uh, uh, find a ground that you could like relax on, because until then you're going to start to feel panicking. You're going to be forced to do things. You might start to become reactionary, and then they're setting you up and stuff. So you need to ignore all of that, right? Get away from all that and just ground yourself, and then start to calm down and go, okay, look, this is the situation. This is what's happening to me. You have to analyze. He's landing a lot of jabs on me, or he's just charging at me, or whatever. You just need to figure out what is going on. So that I think is the first level. The second level, in my opinion, is basically when you do have something that you're studying, like a martial arts, and you have skill and stuff like that. You want to immerse yourself in technical detail, all right? So if your strategy is halfway decent, okay, and you're put in a very harsh scenario like a street fight or an ambush or whatever, if you have a decent strategy, then in such a situation that's intense, you just focus on technical detail in order to pull it off. And a good example I could give you is like when you have to give a presentation in college, all right? So in college or in high school or whatever, or anywhere, if you have to give a presentation and there's going to be a lot of people and it's kind of nerve-wracking, okay? If you get a piece of paper out and you just read what you wrote down and you don't look at the audience not even once and you just read the whole thing like this, it's not too bad. It really isn't. But you know that you're going to be graded for how you deliver the speech. People are going to be paying attention to that kind of stuff. Then you have to like look at the audience, and then maybe crack in a few jokes or see how they're responding and stuff like that. Are they falling asleep? Do I need to change the pace? Are they able to hear and follow me, or they're not with me at all? You kind of have to watch all that. When you do that, and so you understand that, so you look up into the audience, that's when you can lose it. That's when you can go, oh my gosh, what's happening? And you freak out. And now you lost all the technical detail, all right? So at a higher level, you want to be able to interact with the audience and adapt to what's going on. That's much better. At a lower level, just stick to the strategy, okay? So that's to me level 2. So level 1 is what I just said earlier, which basically it's you versus the situation. Just you by yourself, not your skills, not your attributes, just you and your raw instincts versus the situation. You need to calm down and be able to see what's going on. Observe, Number 2, the second scenario in the second level, all right, is basically now you have some skill, you have strategy, you have technique. So just focus on the technical detail. Like I said, if your strategy is halfway decent, you're probably going to be okay. Okay. So now at an even higher level would be, to be able to follow your strategy, but at the same time be able to adapt to any other, to make last minute adjustments. So that's the difference between strategy and tactics. You have the overall strategy. Tactics is something that occurs right there on the spot. There are a lot smaller things. Strategy is like mapping out the whole thing beforehand. So that's the way I define strategy and tactics. So that's basically a quick short version that I wanted to talk about what kind of some of the things that I follow for my psychology of fighting. So anyway, thank you for watching, and take care, folks.